Is it on? Do we have to start it? You've got a traditional... Oh, Jesus, it's got a key.
Why, hello. Chris and Jim over here. Jim, do you want to introduce the channel?
So my channel's called Definitely Not a Guru. If you like kind of conversational reviews that have far less information and detail than Chris's, then go and watch my channel. If you like detail, watch his.
Just get out of the shot. I'm joking. Jim he's downplaying himself. It's great content. Definitely check out his channel. You probably know him already, but regardless, link his channel down in the description below and in the pinned comments. And we are here with Citroen, and we're looking at the e-C3 Urban. So we'll just give you a quick little video on it, a little walk around, and we'll jump in the driving seat. I think, Jim, you're driving first.
Yep.
And then I'll swap in as well, and then give you guys a quick impression on it. Right, so it's available in a few different colours. Jim, what do you make of it?
Yeah, I mean, it's not a massive departure from what we've seen from them already, is it? But obviously they're going for that more like the Dacia Spring, BYD Dolphin Surf sort of customer. So this is going to be the entry point to the range. On the road in the UK in plush trim, which is the only one we're going to get, 18.5 grand. So the actual RRP, I think, is 19,995.
Yeah, that's
right.
right.
Get that £1,500 EV grant. It is a bit compromised in terms of what it offers.
We need to talk about charging.
Yeah.
Don't we?
So as standard, it only comes with 7 kilowatt charging, no fast charging. If you want fast charging, it's not very fast. £440 option, and that gives you 30 kilowatt charging. But they're saying this car's designed for people as a second car, a third car in the household, and just for local journeys. I think the average person's going to do about 30 miles a day in it. Yeah. So, you know, maybe that's adequate.
I guess it's reflecting on the range because it's 30 kilowatt hour battery pack. Am I right? Am I mistaken? So yeah, 30 and then range claim of oh god, it's 213 or something like kilometers, and it's like 130 odd miles, something around that on top of my head. Jim's gonna check out the stats, and while he does that, I'm gonna open up the boot.
186 city range, 130 combined.
Yeah,
so,
there you go. Yeah.
Miles, that is. And it's an LFP battery, we should also mention that.
Oh yeah, okay. Some extra tech info. I thought you didn't do any technical information.
I was lying, I'm brilliant. Really.
There you go. Boot wise, actually 400 litres, and it's actually pretty practical. I mean, we've shoved 2 bags in there pretty poorly. We're not exactly Tetris masters, are we?
I think the 400 litres might be in the hybrid. I meant to
ask that's a good point. They didn't mention that.
This one's 310.
Okay.
But I'm not 100% sure.
That is a good point, because there is a hybrid model of this, and then there is also as a fully electric one. We're in the fully electric one, not that it shows with these number plates, or that we don't know how to read French number plates. But
this is the urban range. There's also a standard range, which is like 200 miles of range or somewhere in that realm. But yeah, this one is very much the entry point.
It's got a hatchback design.
Yeah.
How tall are you, Jim?
5'9".
5'9". There you go. Look.
3/4. One of the interesting things they said was that because this is primarily going to be like second car or third car, if you factor in the running costs, if you can obviously charge from home, you're getting a brand new car for used car money with very low running costs.
Yep.
And I think when you look at it from that perspective, it becomes a bit of a different proposition to a little electric car with not much range that doesn't charge very quickly.
Exactly. Yeah. So it's a good take on it, let's put it that way. Right, mind your head. Right, so rear seats. Do you want to have a little seat?
Shall I?
I mean, we haven't. Well, I think it's pretty adjusted, but you know what? I mean, that's not too bad.
It's really good, actually.
That's not too bad at all.
My thighs are a bit high off the front of the seat, but that's fairly normal. There's not bags of underfloor room, but it's under seat room for your feet, but it's good enough. And a bit of storage there, little phone pouch.
Yeah, which I actually really love.
We've still got the little tags on the door trim.
Be happy. What was Ozzy also? I was wondering if it was like, you know, those little Chinese cookies that you get with like different sayings. Fortune cookies, yeah. One's be happy and the other one's like, I don't know, live long or something.
Yeah. We've got got some fairly industrial plastics around.
Let's
Seat material's nice. The seats are really comfy as well.
Look.
Oh, windy windows! Come on. That actually really makes
I need to do it from outside. Wait, let's do it from outside. Go on. Oi, give me my money.
It actually makes me happy for some reason. It's like nostalgia to winding the window.
It's just Jim's like playing with knobs. That's all it is. Right, okay, so pretty good legroom and headroom, and they've actually optimised in terms of the top. You can see it kind of curves at the top, so they've just given you that extra bit of headroom rather than keeping it in a single way, and yeah, pretty adjustable as well, you can see that. So, front. So no windy windows at the front, unfortunately, Jim.
No.
Doesn't quite give you the Ami vibes, you know, when you open up the windows themselves.
A little bit of
So trim.
plastic here.
I think they do this on quite a few Citroens, at least in terms of exterior. Yeah, here we go. So like these little plastic clips on the exterior. I don't know if they have it in the front bumper as well. Yeah, they do. You had it on the regular e-C3 and the e-C3 Aircross, where you could actually customise the little trims.
Here as well.
Yeah.
They've got some material on the dash here, which is quite nice.
It's a bit squidgy, a little bit
but
squidgy.
I much prefer having something like that than like
Yeah, absolutely.
some of this stuff. And I mean, they've got some just fairly naff plastic there, but you don't go long stroking that. But that looks and feels quite nice. Piano black, which makes my skin crawl.
Oh yeah, that's a fingerprint magnet, as they would say.
I mean, I had an £80,000 Audi the other week.
Yeah,
that had that,
exactly the same.
You know,
yeah.
Little rocker switch for the gear selector, drive selector.
Look at this.
Cup holders, AC. Yeah.
No, but as
climate.
in physical controls.
Yeah.
Again, you like your knobs.
I do. Yeah. I'm never happier than when I'm fiddling with a knob.
And look,
Handbrake.
on a fully electric vehicle, as in like I can't. I mean,
I'm going to do some sick parking manoeuvres.
there we go. You guys tell me if you can remember a fully electric car with a physical handbrake lever. I've reviewed about 180 plus. I mean, I could be wrong, but as a fully electric vehicle, I can't think of many that have that. It's usually obviously electronic.
Yeah, good point.
Fascinating. There's obviously because it's shared with a hybrid platform, and then they kept costs down. So
Headroom's epic in here. You'd be fine in here at like 6'2", at least.
that's good headroom. Good headroom. And then there's that little projected cluster / head-up display. So it's actually projected. You can probably see it down there.
Yeah.
But it's this kind of 8-bit-ish design, which I actually really like.
It looks cool, and the thing I like about it is it really stands out. So when you're an old man and you can't see, people have told me this, obviously I don't know, but when you're an old man and you can't see,
Puts on the glasses.
like that really stands out. So even without my glasses, you know, I can read that extremely clearly. And it's because you've got very bright, crisp text against a dark background. And that screen as well is also, obviously it's not going to be the most advanced thing on the market. And we've got a bezel the size of the M25, but it's nice and bright and clear.
It is very clear, and I will like to say there is a bit of like a grain to it, and you usually get that with like cheaper displays.
Yeah, it's just
but
a lower
again,
res display.
It doesn't matter, and it's not present in the UK trim because the in the UK we get Plus, and I think we actually get Max as well.
Are we not in a Plus?
We are in a Plus.
Yeah.
But in the U trim, which is not available
Yeah.
in the UK, you don't get a display.
Yeah.
So it's just worth bearing that in mind. Not that it's going to matter much to UK audience, which is the majority of our audiences, but just as an FYI, in case you come across the car without this, that's the reason behind it. Physical buttons,
The
and
little
good controls.
Squared off steering wheel as we
Squared off,
expect.
yeah.
Feels really nice. It does have some sort of leatherette wrap on it, which feels nice. You know, a car at this price point, you might expect something that feels like it's made from a moulded ice cream tub that's been melted down, but this actually feels really nice. And we've got buttons and little rocker switches on there. It's all right.
It's all right, yeah. Well, what we should do now is have you drive.
We should.
Let's go for it. So you join us now in the car, and Jim is driving. Jim, what do you make of the car?
I really like it. I mean, it is designed to be a city runaround and kind of nothing more. But it's a fun little car to drive. It's got all the power whenever you need it. The steering feels good. If you go into a bend a bit sharp, you know, it does get a bit boaty, but it's incredibly comfortable.
Yeah, it is. It's got the Citroen Advanced comfort suspension and the advanced seats as well. So the seats are a little bit cushiony soft. I don't know if you saw that before.
It's a memory foam or something.
Yeah, it's like basically an additional layer on top of the seats. And then thanks to the comfort suspension, which has got a slightly different configuration over your traditional like coil springs, it makes it a little bit softer. And from the roads, although the roads are nice over here in France, they've been actually pretty good. So it feels pretty nice. As Jim mentioned, it does seesaw a little bit left and right. But as a police, it just zoomed past us on the inside. Where are you going, mate? I don't know if you guys caught that, but probably not. They're chasing someone clearly, but basically undertaking you from the right side.
On like the narrowest hard shoulders, basically.
But yeah, no, it's really comfortable to drive, and in terms of range, we did say about how its electric range would be, and we've done a very short stint, although it's also been majority on motorway,
which the car's not designed for, let's face it.
But it's already depleted 11%, so it's gone from 100% to 89%, which is pretty crazy. But
how many miles have we covered?
Good question.
Yeah.
Absolutely no idea.
So we've probably done a few miles because we've been at motorway speed the whole time.
We have, yeah, you're right.
So
yeah, I mean, well, again, as you said, it's a city car.
Yeah.
So it's somewhat, not say irrelevant, but you're going to do some motorway trips
to work and
exactly
to the shops and that kind of stuff.
Exactly. What I'll say as a passenger, I actually feel it feels really comfortable. I have got no complaints whatsoever. It feels soft and also spacious, which I'll just show you my legroom. It's pretty good. And again, we talked about headroom before, but no problems whatsoever as well in that department. Truth be told, it's quite impressive for what it is, for what it's worth.
Yeah.
As a reminder, £18,500 or thereabouts for the entry-level trim with the EV grant. Without it even, you're looking at £20,000. And if we do consider, like, your speciality would be like looking at some of the deals and like used car market. I know you say you've not covered that for a while, but used car market as well. How much do you think this might cost in a couple of years' time?
Yeah,
it's anyone's guess, but like you might be looking at getting this for £5,000-6,000 maybe in a couple of years' time. I don't know.
The funny thing is as well, like of late, the used EVs have actually gone up in price.
Yeah.
And they're getting way more popular at auctions because dealers are now having more demand for them, and the sales of used EVs have gone through the roof. And obviously recent world events will probably only continue to spur that on. But when you look at this now versus some of the competition, I mean, a year ago even, it would have been probably a no-brainer just to pick up a used ID3 or something for 10 grand.
Yeah.
But now you're at the point where that used ID3 for 10 grand is going to have a bit of mileage on it. It's probably a slightly older one. And if you literally just want it as a commute car or a second car in a household, where you've got something else that's capable of doing long range, maybe people think, actually, I'll just get a brand new car for
absolutely,
you know, and have the benefit of the manufacturer's warranty and stuff. It's got an LFP battery as well, which a lot of people will prefer to other battery chemistries and stuff.
Yeah.
So I don't know, I could see it doing reasonably well.
Yep. And one thing we also forgot to mention is it's not exactly a performance car.
No.
I think 0 to 62 is like 10.4 seconds, got 83 kilowatts of power, something like that, 113 horsepower. But you notice that when you put your foot down, it's got a linear torque, because it is also got the hybrid model that we did mention, but it feels really smooth.
It does, and it doesn't feel like it's lacking for power. And around town, it feels quite sprightly even. So like here, if I just like that's not
Up to 40 kilometers.
That's not slow.
There. Yeah.
And it's all you need around town, like to get yourself out of trouble, or pulling away from a junction, or pulling away at a roundabout.
Exactly.
It's got kind of what you need.
Yeah. Yeah, it's insanely good.
Cars like this are not about excitement, are they? They're about like
Practicality.
cheap, practical.
Point A to point B.
Yeah.
And yeah, it is, for that, it's great. Yeah, really impressed. So with that in mind, if you want some additional information, make sure you pop it in the comment section below, saying that this is just a first impression video. Hopefully it came very clearly in this type of video. And definitely do check out Jim's channel. Again, link down below, pin comments, all that stuff. If you don't know him already, now you do. And definitely do consider dropping a like, subscribing, and hitting that bell notification, all of which would be greatly appreciated. Right, with the contemplation of some French drivers who is a taxi driver in reverse who shouldn't be in reverse. And that's why Jim was reversing, being like, oh, wait a second, what's going on? We'll see you in the next one. So, yeah, take care of yourselves. And, yeah, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and hit that bell notification.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.